Hey everyone, this is Ochre, and I wanted to show you the second wreath that I made last year for Nathan's mom, Kathy, and this one is a square wreath that I made with just a regular round, run-of-the-mill wreath that I found, and the monogram seed which I used Sloan chalk paint old ochre for. So let me just show you what I did, and come along for the ride. This is actually, and let me see, yeah. This was $9.99. It was on sale right now at Hobby Lobby for 50% off. This was actually just a circle, basic circle wired, and it's the one that has the two wires that you can also buy separately if you want to make your own wreath. And it was circular. So as you can see, I've pretty much started to bend it, and I just bended it. I mean, there's no big giant trick to it. Now, you can either do it on a table. You can bend it, hold it down up here and then bend it down. Just know that you are going to have to do it several times because you're going to have to flip it over and then bend it down a little bit more. And this is actually better if you do it with both hands. So you can hold one on one side and then the other side so you can get better corners. So it makes it more of a square wreath. And as you can see, it's already starting to look like a square wreath. I'm just going to, let me move this. On this greenery, if you have an old wreath, you guys, just go ahead and this we took off of an old wreath and all of this little greenery and the cardinal and other little berries that we're going to use for this one. Easy way to recycle. Now, if you see the wires, they're still a little bit rounded. This is the other corner, so I'm going to continue unfolding it just a little bit. If you don't want to do it on a counter, you can also do it like towards your stomach. And that way you can hold the wreath on this side and on this side with both hands, and then just have it fold into your stomach to and then you work out your abs. And you can fold it so you can get more of a squared frame. Now over here, it's not perfectly squared. I'm going to work on it and bend it a little bit more to get it to work. And keep in mind, this is the back. It does not matter what the back looks like. Once you fluff it, you may not even notice that it's not even full-on squared. We're going to fluff it and make sure these come out and give it more of this is flat. This actually is the way they had it at the store. I just started to fold it. And at Hobby Lobby, I was actually doing it in the aisle. I was like, well, they don't have any square wreaths. Let's try to make one. And I'm sitting there, so I was thinking, okay, here's the game plan. I can either fold it into a square, bend it into a square, or I break it, we drop it, and we run like the dickens. But luckily it worked. And so yeah, so that is what I'm going to be working on. So I'm going to go ahead and fold this up a little bit more. Like I said, basically the same way that I just told you guys, and then I'll come back when I have a better squared shape. So on whatever tip, you take the little wire, you twist it, and then you have these two little things that you can twist onto your wreath with any one of your sprays. Prepare all of them at once doing this, and then it'll be so easy to put them in there, and they will not fall out. Now, as for the lights though, I've already measured this light strand, and it goes twice around the wreath. So I'm going to do one on the outer side and one on the inner side, but at the same time zigzagging it so the lights don't look completely uniform. And this, you don't need the wire. What I do is, just, since this greenery is wired, I just roll it around and boom, set, you're done. But by doing this, you also hide the wires, and this is probably something you guys know and already do, but this is something I always do whenever I start a wreath or I redecorate a wreath. I always pull everything off and then I start from scratch. So now you see it's a little brighter. I'm actually in the garage right now, so they've gone ahead and opened the garage door, so it's a little bit brighter. I just wanted to show you another cool thing, another thing that I do, not cool, is as I am lighting anything, I turn it on so you can see where your lights are. That way, as you're kind of planning it as you go, and you get to see where the lights are, where you need to fill in. As you can see, I'm doing it on the outside. I really want to define the fact that it's a square, and then I'm going to go inside with the rest of the lights. And see, and I'm trying to make sure that as I do this, I hide the wire. Okay, so now that I've done the outside border is when now I'm going in and just basically going in a zigzag direction to make sure that I fill in the actual wreath part. As you can see, here is one side that I already have pretty much filled in, and then here's the part where I only have the edge. So here I am. Now I have the lights on it. As you can see, we've gone ahead around the side. I've scrunched them down a little bit just to make sure that I have a good square. Let me see if I can just... And that is what we are looking at now. Now it's just a matter of adding the large bow and the monogram. Okay, so now I am done with this wreath, and I have just looped. I did a 6-loop bow on here, and then I just carried the train of the ribbon off to the side. This ribbon is also from Hobby Lobby. Seriously, I should get them to sponsor this video. All because the wreath and the ribbon and everything did come from Hobby Lobby. Let me just get you guys, and I'll take a picture of it when it is actually placed on the front door. And also, as far as the ribbon loops, everything was held together down here with these same little pine sprigs that are in there. They will hold it perfectly because they are wired, and look, it looks like it naturally just loops through that. And this bow is just clumped up together and tied with wire ribbon. I mean, with the same wire, floral wire that I use for everything. Okay, so now we're going to take the C that I've painted on both sides. The back side isn't absolutely perfect, but it really doesn't need to be. I'm going to go ahead, and you always want to use, from what I learned from my Sloan class, you always want to use a cotton t-shirt or a cotton rag. It just works better. So then we're just going to, actually I'm going to get Nathan to hold it. Okay, so I've already dampened this piece of t-shirt, which this is what our old t-shirts go for. You're just going to go slowly. As you can see, it's still wet. I mean, it's still not full on sealed, and you can always take away a little bit of water and just scrape. And this is something if you want to do less distressing, and you just go around the edges, and the gold gilding that the letter had will start to show along with the darker colors. This is the edge of the letter, and this is, I think this is like resin or something, and it has gold in it, and you want to go through the, and you could do straight sweeps like that and go through the edges where more distressing would go. And look, here is the paint on that, and then you just wash it off as you go. Now when you do this, I learned the hard way that you want to make sure that you let this completely dry. Reason being, once you come in to wax it and seal it, it will because you basically added moisture to the paint, it will continue to take paint off. And I learned that the hard way when you put on your clear wax to coat it, or if you want to put a dark wax for a distressing. Like I said, yes, I learned that the hard way, and where I ended up losing a lot of paint, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I totally messed that one up, and I just went ahead and redid it. Now the fun thing about this, if you do take off too much, you can just easily wait for it to dry a little bit again, and then reapply as much or as little paint as you need. Now I keep moving the piece of t-shirt here to areas that have no paint, because you basically are just caking on paint on one side and just moving it around, and this way you can continue to pull paint off easier as you go. And you can just do straight swipes or go back and forth like if you were sanding. Now I have to check with Kathy to see if this is too much sanding, and then if I have to reapply some paint, we just reapply some paint. But it is that easy, and make sure you can always rinse this out and reuse it, and you are good to go. The letter C came out. See, with that, perfect little bit of distress, and you can go as much or as little as you want with it. Like I said, make sure that you do the edges. It gives it way more character. But you do want to let this completely sit and dry, at least for half an hour to an hour, or put it under a fan like I'm going to. Because once you coat it with the wax to seal it, it will continue to take some of it off, because technically there's still quite a bit of moisture on here that you put on. Okay, so this is the end result, and I apologize for the shakiness. This is the end result of the square wreath with the monogram letter. Now there is the bow, and I showed you guys when I had it prior to the C. So what I've done is I actually just looped a bit of the leftover ribbon through here and then wired it inside, so it looks just like it's hanging right off of the bow. and it's already been waxed. The seat's already been waxed with the anti-Sloan clear wax, and that is, it's already night here, hence why we're outside, and I'm using Nathan's phone also for light. So that is that one. I have pictures, so I'll try to lighten them up and show you guys. So, and now let's go inside and I will show you the frame wreath.